Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. In Canada, there are many Canadian citizens and permanent residents who wish to have their family abroad join them in Canada permanently. The family class sponsorship was created with this intent, essentially to bring family members of Canadian citizens and permanent residents to Canada permanently. Additionally, the Canadian government allows for this desire to come true through the family class sponsorship. Canada truly believes in family reunification and strongly believes that families should be together. Therefore, in this video, I will explain who a Canadian citizen or permanent resident can sponsor, the different options available for family class sponsorship, and much more. It is important to note that there are specific familial relationships that qualify to be sponsored by a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Therefore, the following family members may be eligible to be sponsored into Canada: their spouse, common law partner or conjugal partner, their mother or father, their dependent children, their grandmother or grandfather, their brother or sister, their niece or nephew, and their grandchildren. Specifically for their grandchildren, the parents must be deceased, they must also be at least 18 years of age, and they must not be married or in a common law relationship. Depending on which family member you intend on sponsoring, this will determine what eligibility requirements are needed from them and what application form they must fill out. It is important to note that depending on the family member that you intend on sponsoring, Immigration Canada requests different documentation and application forms to be filled out. I will explain in detail all of the options available for the family class sponsorship. Spouse or common law partner. In order to sponsor your spouse or common law partner, you must first determine whether the spouse or common law partner will be within Canada or outside of Canada while the application is being processed. Essentially, the spousal or common law partner sponsorship has two different options: the inland spousal sponsorship or the overseas spousal sponsorship. This also applies to common law partners as well. Please note that there are specific eligibility requirements for each of the options, so for the inland spousal sponsorship as well as the overseas spousal sponsorship. Thus, both the sponsor and the sponsored applicant must abide by these requirements in order to have a successful application. Parent or grandparent. There are many ways in which you can bring your parent or grandparent to Canada. The first option that you can choose from is the parent or grandparent sponsorship program. This program does have an annual capacity to how many applications can be accepted and processed. If the capacity is reached, there is a second option to bring your parent or grandparent to Canada. This would be the Super Visa program. This program permits parents and grandparents of Canadian citizens and permanent residents to come to Canada on a multi-entry visa for up to 10 years. Please note that whichever program that you choose to apply to for your parent or grandparent, they must abide by all of the eligibility requirements in order to apply. Dependent children. If you are a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident of Canada with a dependent child that is currently living abroad, you can sponsor them to Canada through the dependent child sponsorship. Of course, if they are underage and are dependent of you, you must ensure that they meet all of the eligibility requirements before you apply for the dependent child sponsorship. Any other relative. In order to sponsor any other relative, such as a sister or brother or a nephew or niece, you must ensure that they meet the eligibility requirements, much like all of the rest of the family class sponsorship options. Ultimately, they may be able to be sponsored through the family class sponsorship. The most important thing to determine prior to applying to any of these family class sponsorship programs is to make sure that both the sponsor as well as the sponsored applicant is eligible to apply. If you need assistance with determining which option is best for you, you can definitely contact us here at Akrami and Associates, and we can definitely help you out with the matter. We have helped many of our clients be reunited with their family members in Canada, and they now have permanent residency here. If you believe that you would be eligible for any of the aforementioned programs, please feel free to contact us. With Akrami and Associates, there's always a way.